hello, Control. I was just wondering... Oh. Hello, this is the Secret Service. No, I'm afraid Control's not in at the moment. Who is this, please? Ah, hello, Mrs. Control. No, I don't know where he is. Yes, it's very strange. I just popped in to ask him if he'd like a cup of coffee because it's nearly 11 o'clock and there's no one here. I agree with you, Mrs. Control, that he'll probably turn up. Bye.
Hello, Tony.
Ah, Control. I was just beginning to worry.
Oh?
Yes, Mrs. Control has just been on the telephone. And between me and Mrs. Control, neither of us seem to know where you were.
Well, let me explain, Tony. But before I do that, let me ask you if you notice anything unusual about the office.
The window. Of course, the window always used to be slightly further to the left.
Not quite, Tony.
It was a bit of a guess, actually.
I do remember that we did talk about moving the window, but if you recall, I asked you to make a feasibility study into the whole thing, but I then had to make the rather difficult decision that that particular game just wasn't worth the candle. What's actually different about the window, Tony, is that it's open.
So it is, Control. Is this in some way connected to your not having been in the office earlier on?
Yes. You see, I fell out of the window.
Gosh, Control, I can only say how sorry I am and ask whether you were hurt in any way.
To my surprise, Tony, I was not hurt in any way at all.
Well, that is something of a blessing.
Yes, that's right.
Because one of the other things about being Control, I've always thought, is that your office is on the 6th floor. So that in the event of something like this happening, you have got slightly further to fall than if you were in the records department, who are located on the 1st floor of this building.
Very similar thoughts were going through my mind, Tony, as I travelled towards the pavement with gathering speed.
But Control, how did this whole sorry business come about?
Well, Tony, I've got a confession to make. You see, one of the things I like to do before you very kindly bring me my morning coffee is to feed the pigeons who perch on the windowsill.
Control, I can't say I'm altogether surprised. There had been some rumours in the canteen to that effect.
Well, I'm glad to be able to silence those wagging tongues once and for all. I do feed the pigeons. And it was while doing so this morning that I fell out of the window.
Control, I think I can picture the scene. Here you were at the window, so engrossed in what you were doing that you neglected not to fall out of it. Am I pretty near the mark?
Spot on, Tony.
Well, I'll tell you another thing, Control, that's resulted from this adventure. It's past 11 o'clock and you've not had your coffee.
It never rains but it pours, eh, Tony?
Yes, Control, but quite often it rains and pours at the same time.
Tell you what, Tony. On your way to the coffee-making area, perhaps you could ask Valerie kindly to pop outside and apologise to an old lady who was selling flowers outside the main entrance.
I'll certainly do that, Control. Did she happen to be the unlucky one who broke your fall?
No, she was fortunate in that respect, Tony, but she might be a little bit upset that my fall was broken by her small grandson.
Well, fair enough, Control. I expect that in that case, she'd welcome a cup of coffee too.
Good thinking, Tony. Oh, now come on, Simon. You've caused enough trouble today. You're not getting a single seed. Oh, all right then. There you are.
Boo.